What if there was a science to you matching the frequency of your dream reality? What if the abundance you want, the love that you want a reflection of in your life, the health and the opportunities and the people you attract into your life was simply a matter of you matching a certain frequency that already exists? And what if it was taking out all the challenge that comes with trying to create something? So it's not even that you have to create it, you just have to match it. Now, in 2017, when I learned what I'm about to share with you in this video, I very quickly went from working at a 9-to-5 job selling women's shoes to being a full-time YouTuber. Within 6 months, I had 100,000 followers on YouTube. I had that of put in my 2-week notice and got to quit a 9-to-5 job I was not passionate about, of selling women's shoes. And even more recently, I've used this to go from being in a certain familiar box that I realized I created myself in, to running live events and to becoming a new version of myself. And what if the love that you attract into your life is first off met with that of the energy that you are embodying right here in the present moment? So you must feel the love. You must literally perceive of the love within your own energetic field for you to perceive it on the outside. And what if it were very simple for you to actually do this? Now, recently there was this social media, like it's on TikTok, it's on Instagram. It's this video that shows that in reality, we can match the frequency of what we want, and that's just the way reality works. There's a gentleman that is using that of a tuning fork, and he is hitting this tuning fork, and it is showing that once he hits it at the frequency of this other tuning fork, it begins to vibrate. It begins to resonate. And you want to think of the reality you want to experience in your life as you must match the frequency of the reality. Imagine there's like mini tuning forks. And if you want to experience the reality where you are in a loving relationship, where you are in abundance, where you are doing what you love full time, you must match the frequency of it. And then you can perceive and experience the vibrational resonance with that reality. So this isn't about necessarily wanting it. This isn't about putting it on a pedestal. This isn't about making things very important. This is about understanding that the version of you want to experience already exists. And that was one of the first key points of matching the frequency of my dream reality back in 2017, is I had to realize that I am here right now working a job I'm not passionate about, but there is a version of me that is a full-time YouTuber. So what I began to do is to look at the frequency at that version of me. Now, the frequency was how that version of me was thinking, feeling, acting. How that, like, what kind of action was that version of me taking? What kind of habits did that version of me have? What kind of skills did that version of me learn? And there was and even I'd use, and this is, by the way, using the imagination, which is one of the first keys to the principle of you matching the frequency of your dream reality, is that the bridge to it is your imagination. It is using your imagination to connect to the frequency of that dream reality. If we talk about that of Neville Goddard, if we talk about that of one of my favorite books that is really what helped me become very successful, it's called The Science of Getting Rich by Walter Wattles. It's an old school book, but it talks about using the imagination to view yourself and to begin to believe it is possible for you. It's almost like you're able to try on the frequency of your dream reality when you do this. So when it comes to imagining the version of you that is the highest self version of you, the version of you that's thinking, feeling, acting equal to the reality you quote unquote want, you realize first off, it already exists. But secondly, you begin to match the frequency of it. And that's what I did in 2017, where I began to think, feel, and act equal to a full-time YouTuber. And I realized that the full-time version of me wasn't making videos only once every 2 weeks. I realized that that version of me was making a video every single day on YouTube. And think about things you do every day change your sense of identity. Like if you were to right now start going to yoga, doing Bikram yoga, when you go, they tell you, you go one time, they say, you need to come for a week to really know if it's for you. So after 2 or 3 days, you keep going. You're like, okay, I want to know if this is for me. Then you buy a yoga mat because you're tired of renting a sweaty yoga mat. You might buy some like yoga clothes, and then you start to see yourself as a yoga person. Your identity begins to shift. So whatever you do consistently begins to shift the frequency of your identity. So in 2017, when I started to make daily videos, my identity started to shift. And it started to shift, and there were still blocks. There was still the old part of me. You see, the frequency of your dream reality and the frequency of your old reality are going to be kind of like, for a while, interlapped. And you're going to get this want and this like wanting to be in this new frequency, but there's going to be an old part of yourself that fights for familiar childhood patterns from the past. It fights for limitation. What will people think of me? Am I credible enough? Oh, everything has to be perfect. These things will come up. Fear will come up. But it's understanding that the fear is coming up because you are getting ready to shift into a new frequency. And that new frequency is the unknown. And this blocks so many people from matching the frequency of the reality they want, which simply means you're stepping into a new version of yourself. And what holds back is like there's a fight for familiar. There's a fight for familial. This is why some people maybe are in certain type of relationships that are maybe narcissistic or someone's controlling them. And then they may start to break away, but then start to feel fear because they're so used to the familiar pattern of someone having power and control over them. But you have to have the courage to step into something new. You have to have the courage to say no to something that you know is maybe toxic for you, instead of fighting for it. That 9-to-5 job I had in 2017, there were toxic patterns of that 9-to-5 job that were very familiar to me. Corporate politics, management that would talk down to people, having to beg for the schedule that you want. These were all like literally the whole entire at Barney's, New York, before they went out of business, because I left and then 1 or 2 years later they went out of business. We had a union. We were trying to get a union because there was so much like trickle down of like a manager that was just having power issues, like little guy syndrome. Trying to be having like a Napoleon complex. We're all fighting against it. And then we try to get a union in there. And then I ended up leaving after that. The union didn't go through because we had like 27 and 27 people that were for it and against it. Because one thing they did, it's funny, one thing they did is they called in these people that came to like kind of brainwash, talking about why union is bad and why you don't want a union and all this stuff. So we were required to go to these stupid meetings when we get paid commission. So for 2 hours, listening to some guy like brainwash us to like not do the union, you start to wonder too when people really don't want you to do something. And it doesn't really make sense. It's like this thing would have worked well for everybody in the company, but they would just say these weird things about why you shouldn't want it and stuff like that. It was interesting. One of the guys looked exactly like Neil Tyson deGrasse. Like he even sounded like him. And I was like, do you know who Neil Tyson deGrasse is? And he was like, he's like, I get told I look like him a lot. I'm like, you look exact. And he sounded just like him. He's like, one time he went to go speak at an event or something like that. He went to go do something. He was staying at a hotel for doing the same like brainwashing union thing because that's what he gets paid to do, kind of. Neil Tyson deGrasse just so happened to be there. So he was getting swarmed with people. It was crazy how much this guy looked like it. This is so beyond the point. But anyways, I was talking, I remember, one thing I remember was we were going to these meetings, and eventually what happened is we decided that it was at a lock where it was 27 to 27, and we ended up not getting it. All the managers went out that night and they celebrated. Then the company went under like a year later, you know. But it was very clear to me because there was a brainwashing that was happening, which also, back when I was a kid, that was a very common thing. Corporate politics, things aren't fair. That was the core story. So matching the frequency of the reality you want, you have to become aware of your core stories because your beliefs ultimately create your reality. And some of the core stories I had was that life was not fair. Because from 7 to 17, life was not fair. If I would have said anything about what was happening in the household, I would get more punished. Working a 9-to-5 job just in 2017 before I quit, guess what? If we said anything or to HR or to anything about what was going on, we would get more punished. Hey, this isn't fair. Familiar energy. Maybe we attract ourselves to certain situations that feel very familiar, and we have the familiarity of our old reality, and that is what's blocking us from tapping into the vibration and the frequency of our dream reality. But we have to match the frequency of it. And how do we do that? Well, there's a book that I read back in 2012 probably that really helped me become more abundant. And I know with spiritual people and abundance and money, it's like a lot of times there's a common belief that money is bad. Money is energy, is really what it is. But there's this book called The Science of Getting Rich. And I just want to read you just a quick little snippet of it. And it's all about energy. And one of the things that I think is also very interesting is it talks about something called the creative mindset versus the competitive mindset. Now, the competitive mindset is where most people are. They're in competition with other people. It's like I could be on YouTube, and back in the day in 2017, 18, when my channel started to grow, I would look out and see other people, because there were certain people that were like, maybe once my channel started to do well, there were certain people that were kind of copying titles and thumbnails, and that's, I guess, kind of what happens on YouTube. But I felt like there was a part of my originality that was going away. People were comparing me to someone that was like modeling my videos. It was this whole thing. I was very much in competitive mindset where I was trying to control something I couldn't really control. But then I remembered what I learned back in 2012 when I read this, and I was working a sales commission job selling women's shoes. Creative mindset versus competitive mindset. Competitive mindset is there are only a limited number of customers coming in. If one person has a good sale, that would mean that I missed out. And this is so the opposite of what was actually true. I could have given that a different meaning. So what would happen is, and people would be jealous. So like I might have a good sale where I sold like $600 or $700 worth of shoes to a family. Someone else might get jealous. That could have been mine. If I was in the spot he was in, I would have had that sale, which, by the way, you don't know for sure. You don't know if they vibed with you in a certain way. I can't assume that about other people. Like you just don't know. There's so many variables that go into this. However, when we're in that mindset of competition, there's scarcity. There's just a certain number of the amount to go around. And you got it, I'm jealous, negative emotion filling up the energy field. Are you going to tap into a frequency of abundance when you're jealous and there's scarcity? Whenever I would move into creative mindset, which is like, there's enough for everybody. I'm going to match the frequency of what I want. And your success is a sign to me that there's a lot of abundance. You see the difference there? So on YouTube, when I'm making videos, if someone else has a very, like I have friends that are YouTubers, and when they're succeeding, I'm like stoked for them. I'm excited. And there's a part of me that's like, that's a good sign. It means that these kind of topics are getting more mainstream. That means that I can create something that can also get more, have more impact on people. You can use it as a sign to hold you back and keep you in a frequency of scarcity, or you could use it as a sign to motivate you to know this is possible. Like selling women's shoes, what I would then, after I learned this technique or this book, I'm going to read something to you here in a sec, I promise. But basically, someone has a good sale. I wasn't in the right place at the right time. No, someone has a good sale. I go, wow, customers are buying today. That's awesome. There's an energy in the air of abundance. People are wanting shoes. Because I worked in women's shoes. But do you see the difference in those two energies there? How would those affect your energetic field? Very differently, right? So there's this, the summary of The Science of Getting Rich. It's a very short book called The Science of Getting Rich. And it's a whole thing. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but let me read to you this little part right here. It talks about the creative mindset, the competitive mindset, adding value to others because we're all one consciousness. And one of the most important things is that man or woman, whatever, must form a clear and definite mental image of the things he wishes to have, to do, or to become. And he must hold this mental image in his thoughts while being deeply grateful to the Supreme that his desires are granted to him. The man who wishes to get rich must spend his leisure hours in contemplating the vision and in earnest thanksgiving that the reality is already given to him. Too much stress cannot be laid upon the importance of frequent contemplation of the mental image, coupled with unwavering faith and devout gratitude. This is the process by which impression is given to the formless and the creative forces set in motion. So think about it. If the reality already exists, just like the frequency of radio waves already exists. Like you could tune to 97.5 or 98.5. They both already exist. You pick up on it depending on the frequency. So when you think of this, think of it like that of 97.5 FM, 97.5 FM. If you feel gratitude in your field for 97.5 FM, you're taking action, physical action. You're feeling and thinking thoughts equal to it. You're visualizing this and feeling grateful for it as if it exists in your life now, you are more likely to then pick up on the frequency of opportunities and synchronicities in your life that match that frequency. Now, there's a very important thing here that I want to share with you. So basically, having a guided meditation, like a guided meditation process for activating your field is very powerful, but then also taking action as that version of you. Literally be that version of you. Give yourself permission to be it. Now, something that I did just create is a 10-minute meditation that is the first ever daily guided meditation I've made that's only 10 minutes and 44 seconds long. It shows you how to observe your thoughts to neutralize the familiar past, and then it also helps you to feel the gratitude for the reality you want. It's in my new course called High Vibe 101 that is completely free. It's a $1,000 course that I give out for free in the High Vibe Tribe, which is free. So if you want to check that out, you can click the link below and join High Vibe 101, the High Vibe Tribe, High Vibe 101. It's in the meditation. I show you how to meditate. There's like practices and videos that show you step by step how to do it. But there's a meditation there that will help you do this. And then every day feeding your field is very powerful. So you can check that out below in case you're interested. But now the next most important thing I want to share with you is this difference between the different realities energetically. So what most people do is they focus on wanting. They're like, I want love. I want abundance. If you want love or you want abundance, it is saying it's not within my field right now. And what you really want is you want someone in your life to reflect back an emotion that already exists inside of you if you want a relationship. If you want abundance, you want money so that you can feel the freedom that already exists inside of your energetic field. So the key to this is understanding the difference between these realities. Now, there's also this idea of importance. This comes from a book called Reality Transurfing. But anything we make very important, we create what is called excess potential around. Excess potential is an energy that can only experience a reflection of lack. So if you make, it's really, really important that I get this job interview. It's so important. Oh my God, I really hope I get it. I really hope I get it. And you make it important, it's not equal to your identity. You create excess needy energy, and the universe literally can't give you it. You are not matching the frequency of your dream reality. You are matching the frequency of wanting, and the universe can only give you more of you wanting it. It'll give you a lack of it. Remember, if you treat someone like a celebrity, they will treat you like a fan. You can use that for situations and synchronicities and opportunities as well. So realize you can decrease the amount of importance by understanding the truth of reality. That the things you think will make you happy won't make you happy. They're just reflections of energy. You'll get the dream partnership and relationship, but the truth is eventually that will become normal. That will be natural for you. Same with abundance. It's the same thing. So one of the key parts of matching the frequency of your dream reality is understanding that whatever you want on the external is simply a reflection of something you want because of an emotion you will feel. And the emotion you want to feel is already on the inside. You can find reasons and things to focus on gratitude-wise for you to feel grateful for those already in your life. If you want a loving relationship in someone else, instead of having the rule you need someone else, you could focus on the relationships you already have. The relationship with yourself, the relationship with your family member or friends. You could focus on the relationship that you have with an animal even, and feel gratitude for it and fuel up your energetic field. Ultimately, the way you treat yourself is the kind of person you're going to attract. So focus on treating yourself. Like, it's funny, so often people want to attract love, and they're like, I want to attract it. I'm going into the right places. I'm going out. I'm putting myself out there. And I say, a lot of times, I'll tell them, just stop. Don't look. Just enjoy your life. And I'm not saying to like enjoy your life by sitting in a closet. And you're like, well, how will you attract love from sitting in your closet? I'm saying enjoy your life and have fun. Have magnetic energy where you're like enjoying your life, and you are going to be in a magnetic high frequency state where you're more likely to be magnetic and attract people into your life. But also just let go of the resistance and the importance you give to needing in a relationship. So a lot of times people will just let it go, and then they'll attract it. Happens so often. Just stop looking. When you stop looking, it's like you have your keys in your pocket, but you're like, where are my keys? Where are my keys? Where are my keys? You're looking outside for your keys. It's like they're in your pocket. You already have it. So it's a similar thing. Now, you want to let it be natural for your identity. Something I like talking a lot about, because by the time I became a successful YouTuber that gets to travel the world doing what I love, it's natural for me. This isn't some crazy thing. You let it be natural. So understand that matching the frequency of your dream reality is about realizing it already exists. You don't have to create it. You just have to link up your thoughts, your feelings, your actions to that version of you and give yourself permission to be it. Then what you do is you clean up your energetic field by feeling the emotion of what you want to experience. You feel it as if it's here now. You feel the gratitude for it. You literally prime your energetic field by visualizing it, feeling it, and then being it. Not just the intellectual, esoteric part of it. You must also be it. Take action as it. Add value out into the world. And the way it works, because we live in a conscious and a reality where everyone's a reflection of each other, is the more value you put out, the more you get back. So this is a process of understanding that you are that which you are seeking in the world and that you must be it. So in High Vibe Tribe, I have that course I mentioned, High Vibe 101, that shows you step-by-step how to match the frequency of the dream reality you want by raising your vibration in a practical way, how to heal. Guided meditations are in there that aren't on YouTube. If you want to check that out, you go to aarondoughty.com/High Vibe Tribe, or just click the link below. And then also, if you want a video that will show you step-by-step how to create your dream reality, then I have a video that will help you do that and show you the teachings of Neville Goddard and how that changes everything. And I'm going to go ahead and put that video right here. What you will learn in this video may very well change your whole entire perception of reality.